Okay, in the last video, showed you how we made the glasses. So that's a pretty good video. If you haven't seen that, go ahead and find that one, check it out. And in this one, we're gonna make the legs. This is a little bit of a turn or a change from what the original plan was, but we're gonna start making the legs. Now I have to say that during the time of recording this, it was right after I had a back surgery and did the carving outside, and then I ended up not recording the final bit of it where we attached the legs to the body, but the rest of it's there. So enjoy. Carving outside today, such a nice day. A little overcast, but pretty nice. Been working on this guy. Put some glasses on him. He might look a little bit familiar. I don't know. Maybe. Supposed to, anyway. And started out, I had a base on here. I was carving some words in, and I kind of goofed that up. I didn't like the letters I was getting. It just wasn't looking good. So I got rid of that, cut it off, and painted him. I thought I was going to be done. After seeing him sit around a little bit like this, I just didn't think it was quite enough. So what I decided to do is make the rest of me. I'm going to put a base on here like this and carve some legs. So I've kind of traced out where this is. We'll set this guy aside for now. Over here. And got a center line on our block. Roughly. Well, this is the front. I've marked this with a little notch here. So what we're going to have is kind of the way I wear my t-shirt. It comes down over my pants a ways. So we got the t-shirt all there. So this will be, won't be all the way up to my belt line. It'll be lower. And I have a little bit of a belly sticking out. So my legs are actually kind of back here in the middle. We'll have a lot of this carved away, kind of come down like this. Got our carving glove on, our thumb guard on. The knife is sharp, it's dropped and ready to go. So let's just start getting rid of some corners. Now, we'll keep this in mind up here. This is where the edge of the t-shirt is. So we'll come back on the front quite a bit, a little less on the back. Let's just knock the corners off to start with. Been working on this project for quite a while. It's been kind of a slow project, and I've been kind of stalling, trying to figure out how to edit this video. There's over 9 hours of video recorded for this project. I think I have a plan for that, but that's kind of why it's been taking so long. I'm just trying to figure out what I'm going to do. So let's take the back here. There's quite a bit of wood to remove. You could go do this on the bandsaw and save some time. We're just gonna kind of get aggressive with the knife here and just on this back side here. As we get closer to the line where the t-shirt stops, that t-shirt just kind of lays down over my pants. So we want to kind of just come to that line and just curve it a little bit in to get back to the legs. On the front, there's on the front, we need to come back in a little bit more of the t-shirt. I think there's a belly or something in there that holds my t-shirt out away from the front of my pants. I don't know how that happened, but it does. Anyway, so on here, we'll want to actually cut it back so it'll be like the t-shirt will be hanging up over a little bit. So keep that in mind. Bring that back up here. We'll start by just getting the top to where the shirt is. Got a little interruption there with the garbage truck. Okay, let's see where we're at. We got the top pretty much at where the t-shirt's going to be. We can go ahead and bring these corners down to that far at least. Splitting off big chunks, which is fine for now because we're removing quite a bit of wood. But we'll want to smooth that up here. Come back the other direction. I'm going to just redraw my center line. So I got all my lines roughed out here, and I put some references on the bottom because as I carve these back, I'll lose these lines. So I wanted to make sure I mark kind of where the insides of my legs are going to be here. And that got me thinking, I need to kind of mark out where my feet are going to be. So here's the back edge of the feet. And the feet kind of toe out a little bit. So we're going to have the inside edge of the legs here. So we want to just kind of, this is our center line. Kind of just come from where the back edge of our feet are, and the back of the heels are angled. They're not straight across because they're toed out a little bit. And then we're going to kind of just draw a line. We'll make them plenty big at first here. Let's get back to getting rid of some of this wood. Those are the inside of the legs. Let's go, I'll start on the back side here because we're taking away a little bit less wood. We'll just get that carved down. Now we need to just kind of curve it back to the legs. We'll get some of this middle out of here. Well, I had to move spots. It was just getting too hot out there in the bright sun. And the camera batteries died, so I charged those up and I picked a different spot. So hopefully this will work out for us. Also, while I was waiting for the batteries to charge, I went in and colored the glasses a little bit, and also put a couple drops of epoxy on here to hold them in. And I'll just kind of clean that up later. And was noticing that my beard wasn't quite as white as it should be. I think when I put the pink color on the lips, it kind of went down in the beard. So I put a little more white on the beard. We'll see what that looks like when it's fully dry. But we're getting close, right? Let's go back and find this guy's legs. Starting to work on dividing the legs apart here. I think I kind of have this off center now that I look at it. Front is good. I think we need to redraw. We want to take more. See, I didn't have this very centered either. So I need to kind of bring this leg over more, not too much on this one now. So before I forget, I'm going to kind of do that. Okay, after test fitting this on the guy, thinking that I kind of misjudged here, I went into the bandsaw and I cut off about 1/4 of an inch off the top. And then the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to bring the leg division up a little closer to where the t-shirt is. So it just looks kind of goofy the way it is now. So we're going to just kind of copy this, but up here. Oh, like this. Okay, I'm just kind of going around the legs and cleaning this up. I want to focus on getting the shape where I want it, and then we'll come around and put some detail in. Okay, this is a really good example of why I like to say, like earlier in the video for this guy, I talk about putting two pieces together that are oversized and then carving them together. Adding legs to this was kind of an afterthought, and I'm struggling a little bit trying to get them to fit together nice. It just doesn't look quite right to me. So I think what I need to do, and this is going to make it kind of difficult to do, but I've traced out the profile of the top of the legs, which I'm pretty happy with where the legs are, just not happy with how the two look together. So I've traced out the profile of the top of the legs, and even though it's going to be kind of challenging cutting nice and getting it nice and flat in there on the end grain, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to recess this down in there. I'd like to go 3/16 of an inch, if not a quarter of an inch down in there, and then I will kind of carve them together, and I'll have to repaint the shirt. I think that's about the only way I'm going to get these two to look together, look nice together. So that's what I'm doing. It just doesn't look right here. And I think it's because my shirt normally comes down over my pants. And I tried to carve the pants down here, and it doesn't look right. So I need to recess. I could just cut these legs off, or mostly off. Cut some more off of here with the bandsaw. Maybe I'll try that first before I go after this. I'll go take another stab at the bandsaw. Okay, so as I mentioned at the beginning of the video, I didn't get it recorded when I attached the legs to the body. But what I want to do now is I want to wrap this project up. It's taken a long time to get through it, taken me a long time to put the videos together. I hope you enjoy it. Anyway, I want to make a base. One thing I've noticed is he's a little tippy sitting on the desk. So I don't want him to get knocked over and something get broke. So I want to put a little bit more of a base on there. We could get super fancy and use a router on here and do all that, but I think what I want to do instead is maybe we'll just do a little carving on it. I mean, it is a wood carving, right? We're gonna just kind of carve on this a little bit and try to make it look like it's not just a plain block of wood. So let's see what we can come up with. Cheese here I made that we'll talk about in a later video. But if you would like to get, if you don't have one, you'd like to get a carving knife, we do still have some available on our website at huntersmake.com, and we carry a few Badger State Blades knives there. And I do have some more detail knives ordered to replenish some of the ones that are out of stock. We have, I believe we have one detail knife, or one type of detail knife left. It's a maple handle. So there's a few knives there available. You can go check out huntersmake.com. Okay, let's just go ahead and take the, we'll start by taking the, just taking a little bit of the corner off. And this, I intentionally want this to look imperfect, if that makes any sense. I don't want this to look like it was machined with a router or something. And pay attention to the wood grain, just like when you're carving anything. If it starts to split out, turn around and go the other way. We'll just kind of knock the corners off here. And on these, we'll come down at a 45 angle down to the corner. Okay. Oh, we got some saw marks here. We'll probably should try to get rid of those. And just kind of give it that carved look. I'm going to change the angle a little bit here of these cuts. Take our corners down. I think we'll knock the bottom, or knock the corners off of the bottom edge too, just so they're not so sharp. Maybe not as much as we did on the top. Okay. I think we have majority of the corners off. We got some saw marks over here on this side though. Let's clean that up. Just kind of rounding here. Okay. Now I think we'll go around. I'm liking how that's looking so far. It's interesting how it changes when you tip it this way. This half of the block is dull, and you tip it this way. This half of the block is dull. That's interesting. So I think what I want to do is we'll pick this as our top. And I think I'm just going to go around one more time and maybe make this top angle a little bigger and then knock off the edges of that angle just to make it a little more pronounced. We're not on these sides here because of the grain. I'm not going to go very aggressive with it. I want it to be cut and not ripped. Okay, so we got the bigger angle there. Bigger angle there. And again, on these sides, we want to be careful that we don't grab the wood grain and just split a piece out. And that's kind of the look I'm thinking of anyway. Get a little more beveled there. Do this back side. I don't know if it's the back side, but it's the other side. Okay. Liking how that's looking. And now we're just going to maybe soften those edges of that angle just a little bit. Go right across there on the corners as well. Go around the bottom edge of that line first. Okay, now let's go around and take just a little bit off that top edge of that angle, just so it's not harsh. I don't really want any harsh lines on here. You know what? I think that's going to work. Let's pick a side here to have on the front. Kind of liking this guy for the front. I like the holes the grain has in there. There's a little bit on this side, but not as much. So we're going to call this the front. Okay. That's going to work good. I think what we'll do is I'm going to find my 3/16 dowel, and I think I'm going to run a dowel right up through each heel and stick it down on there. Okay, I got my 3/16 dowel here, and I think you guys seen this a few times, but I'll show it again. I just take that dowel and run it around with the knife pushing down on it a little bit, and it snaps right off. We'll grab two pieces about like that. And here's the stressful part. I'm going to take this carving that we spent hours working on, and we're going to drill right into the bottom of it. It's going to go right in the center of the heel. It's probably deep enough. And we'll put one in over here too. Okay, so we're going to hold this guy here. Just going to kind of hold it up here. I'm going to have to set it down to do this. I'm just going to kind of eyeball center it here and mark some spots. So I'm just going to kind of hold this centered on here, or where I think we want him to stand. I think that looks pretty good there. And with the dowel sticking down like that, I can draw mostly around them without moving it. Enough that I'll know where it goes. All right, now I just need to drill those out. Okay, let's see if we can clean up the edges here a little bit, drilling. I just drilled all the way through the block just to make sure. I mean, if the dowels stick out a little bit, we can trim them off, but it won't hurt the end result at all. We have some of these wood fibers sticking up, and I don't want that to keep the feet from getting down tight. Okay, let's see if it'll fit in there. There you go. I like that much better. Not so likely to get knocked over now. The dowels don't stick out on that at all. So now that we see that fits, just take a little bit of wood glue, put a little bit of wood glue on here. It doesn't do any good to put a bunch on there because most of it gets squeezed off the edges of the hole. Work that in there a little. Okay, and put them in there for the final time here. There you have it. We'll let that glue dry. All right, there's our finished project. I made this sign to hang on his hand. Figured I'd have him show up on the edge of the videos here once in a while and Just remind you to subscribe and like the video. And it was a long project. It was a bit of a challenge for me trying to make it look like me. And hope you enjoyed the series. If you did, let me know in the comments. We'll get moving on to some other videos now. Thanks for watching, everybody.